Hey, hi. Before this video starts, I have to make the correction that this person and this person are not the same people. In the first upload of this video, I said they were the same people and I talked about them as such, but they are not. I got a comment, I think it was from Ocean, could not confirm it, but someone under that name just basically telling me, hey, these aren't even the same people, they're two different people. I don't really understand where you came to that conclusion. Now, I think it was either in the editing process or when I was gathering all the screenshots, because there are way more people involved in the situation than even I talked about in these videos, and there's just a lot. Like, I've screenshotted a lot, and I was trying to look it all up on my own. I really wasn't using a lot of other people's references because I was trying to figure out all the information so I can come to an unbiased opinion about the situation. But in the long run, I did make that mistake. I don't think there's any other mistakes that I made. If I did, feel free to correct me. But I just wanted to say that, and I'm sorry. I didn't intentionally mean to blame her for these actions. I just came to that conclusion like a dumbass. I'm stupid, so... some of the audio in this video is really scuffed and it just like fluctuates. I don't know why it didn't work or why it's just fucking up. It just was. There's a lot of files that I couldn't find. There's a lot of information I couldn't find. Screenshots gone. There's a lot of stuff that's missing or fucked in this video. So I apologize for that. Anything I use in this video that's not mine, like video clips, anything like that, link in the description below. There will be part 2 to this video because it's really long, so look out for that. But yeah, now back to the actual video. Hi guys, it's Luna and welcome back to another video. Now today's video is going to be pretty similar to the content I usually make, but it's going to be quite a bit more lengthy and detailed because you guys know when I get down a rabbit hole I get really obsessed with something and then I just can't not research the hell out of it. So this video is going to be really long and it's probably going to take me a really long time to gather everything. That's a lie. It took me like a night and I organized everything like a weirdo. And even though I can't put it all into a timeline because I don't have that much patience, I can at least give you guys a rundown of everything I understand and know and try to organize my thoughts. But just in case you didn't read the title, if you don't know what we're talking about, we're basically just trying to understand and grasp the situation around Cryaotic or Cry. Cry, from what I can gather, is a YouTuber / streamer. He was a part of a streaming group called The Late Night Stream, I believe, and that had a few other people, but we're going to be talking about them later in the video. Now, I had never heard of Cry. I had just saw pretty much what started this whole thing off, from what I remember, or at least it was a spark that started the chain reaction of different allegations and things like that. Now, before I get all into that, I do want to warn you that this is going to be talking about grooming and all that type of shit. So if you're not into those heavy topics, I will click off now because we're mainly going to be talking about the allegations. We're going to be reading a lot of the allegations, seeing what the alleged victim said, and just trying to figure this all out. Now, how I first even knew about the situation was from this Twitter post and the message within it. This Twitter post is the one that got me down the rabbit hole that I've been researching and burning my eyeballs out for a while now. This is from Beanie. She says,
"This is really hard for me to share. I'm not directly tagging them, not my style, but I post this knowing a good handful of you will know. I've been afraid of this making it back to them, but I'm choosing not to live in fear anymore. You have no more power over me."
And this is a story she shared.
2011. I was 16 when I became a fan. Soon after, a friend. You were 22. I admired and cared for the person you were, not the person you put up. I developed feelings for you, and you knew. You never discouraged them. You just amusingly kept me at arm's length for when you felt lonely. On my 18th birthday, things took a turn. I was too blinded by rose-colored glasses to see what actually happened to me. On my graduation day, you told me you couldn't return my feelings as you were too busy messing with your best friend's girl. Said I was a good backup option, though. You still kept me around for those 2 a.m. calls when you had no one else. I started my first year of college when you told me there was someone else. Found out later they weren't of age either. But again, rose-colored glasses. I thought I was special because you kept me around when you were lonely. I made terrible decisions with you, ones that hurt people I cared about, and I have to live with that. I was 20 when I told you I couldn't do that anymore. And I was hurting. I always remembered the response I got back in which you told me the only use I'd ever have to you was as a piece of ass. I told your girlfriend at the time everything. I woke up the next day and you were gone. As was the community and fandom I felt comfortable and safe in for years. I was 24 when we connected again. I was looking for something, an apology, closure, I don't know. Something to fix the years I've been used as a personal therapist and toy. It didn't take long for you to start up old habits. I just want an innocent friendship with you. I've since learned about many other young impressionable girls with similar stories. I didn't want a public Twitter apology. I want to change behavior. I'm 25 now, and what I want most of all is freedom. I will never get the pieces of me that you took back, but I can never replace them without something better. If I'm holding on to the hurt you gave. For anyone reading, thank you for letting me share.
Now, after reading that, I'd already read a few Twitlongers that were kind of confusing. I didn't know who they were, and I didn't know really the bunt of the situation, but this one in particular at least had a name attached to it, because of course she didn't name the person that she was talking about, but as she stated, people caught on, and I found out who it was. And I had never heard of the channel before, but it was a big channel, and I'm like, I haven't heard anything about this. Why isn't anyone talking about this? Maybe we'll talk about it soon, but I still want to know. So I looked up the channel, and what I saw next was where it was like, something's not sitting right with me about this. So I went over to Cry's channel to check out what was happening, and I was a little late to the party, but I saw a video up there, and it was the most vague, confusing video I'd ever watched. Honestly, it's the most irrelevant part of this whole timeline, so I show it in part 2 later, because I want to show all of Cry's responses later, which there aren't that many of, just so you understand all the context, so you're not mad confused like everyone who watched that video. And after watching that video in full, which all the links I can remember to put will be down in the description below, in his description there was a link to a video that he said would explain or something, or at least that's what I thought it would do at the time. And so I clicked the link and it went to a live stream that was privated, I guess, but he linked to it so you could see it. And it was just this manic mess of him crying, and again, not explaining the situation, not explaining himself, almost brushing off what happened or covering up whatever was bothering him, but just having this manic episode. Now, that live stream just sent me down a rabbit hole of Twitlongers and responses, but I also was going to wait for him to respond, and every response I got from his Twitter was just worse and worse and worse. But honestly, I didn't understand the context. And then a few days ago, I was like, I'm tired of waiting for a response. I'm tired of no one talking about this. I'm tired of seeing tiny channels talk about this, but them not get the views, or this just almost being brushed under the rug or almost forgotten weirdly and suppressed. I don't feel comfortable with it, and I just wanted to share how I feel and what I can gather from what I've learned. And so, not too long ago, a few nights, I just started going down a hole. And I'm sorry if it's not tied up in a little bow and it's not all in a neat timeline. I just don't have the time to be able to do all of that because of certain concerns in my life. But I can at least look at every angle, every person involved that I could have found, and read you everything so you can go down the journey I went through when trying to research all this, and we can together just figure out what the fuck is going on. So I'm not going to start out reading Cry's tweets, because usually I would do something like that and then read everybody else's response. I'm going to read everyone else's responses and then read everything Cry was tweeting, and so we can understand the context, because this man just tweets vague shit and starts saying vague shit, and you're not going to understand any of what he's saying unless you see all the rest of this, honestly, because that's literally what happened with me. I didn't see all the rest of this stuff, and so I just was so confused. And then when I finally looked through everything, I like, the pieces just were coming together, and I want you to go through this experience with me. So we're gonna start. The first set of tweets we're gonna review over are Beanies. I had to start with, the person who initially ignited this whole thing for me personally. So we're going to go down the list of tweets I found that are relevant to the situation, that painted the picture for me of what was going on in her set of tweets. She says on the 20th,
Goddamn, y'all get on my DMs asking me to defend myself. I ain't the one. What I shared is what I'm comfortable with. It's not the tip of the iceberg. And please understand that I don't owe anyone the more private details. In part, at the end of the day, a lot of it is trauma. I'm a private person. I keep a lot of stuff private. I've also spent the last decade being asked to keep dirty secrets private to maintain someone's public image. So please keep that in mind as y'all throw this around. The reason this was deleted was because I asked for it to be.
and what she's referring to in this part of the tweet.
Hey gamers, respect your homies. A while ago I didn't, and that is something brings on the regret. Bean, I'm sorry, you're a good friend, and people deserve to know that.
I get that this seems really confusing how I'm doing it, but just hear me out. It'll make sense, I promise. On that same day, she tweeted out,
Since apparently my words don't carry any meaning for you.
And she showed a screenshot that says,
Hey, for the record, so we're fucking clear, at least there's no physical contact. It's exactly the same as at least he didn't hit you. Doesn't matter, doesn't make it better. If that allows it to be more palatable to you, then I encourage you to educate yourself.
Cry replies,
Absolutely, please, everyone. I am not excusing anything. I regret every fucking thing I have done. I just feel you need to finally be heard, and I'm sorry it took so long for me to swallow my pride and accept who I was turning into. I didn't accept to myself what I did.
She was also tweeting out things that were kind of making sense, like she would tweet out a peace sign.
And like we were still in high school when I was telling you that stuff was getting sexual, right? Yeah, like since junior year.
And that was a conversation, I guess, that she had with her friend that really didn't explain much. A lot of what people did was talk about things, not really explain, not really connect the dots. So I was just kind of going through their timelines trying to really figure it out. And someone did reply to that and confirm that, oh, she was talking about me specifically. This user said,
Yeah, I can't remember the exact timeline, but you were either 18 or not quite when you told me because I was 20, 21.
Later, I guess she did post.
It was 2 days after I made the post and he texted me about some video. I figured it wouldn't be long, that he would try to contact me because I've caught him stalking my shit before. This is how his mind works. That's not the video y'all got. Please read the last part.
And then she shows text messages or alleged text messages from Cry that read,
What are you going to address in the video? My perspective of life, how you need to get things out, addressing how I cheat and how things went down. Maturely and without asking for sympathy, I own it. If I can't own it, who am I? Can I really express myself?
And then this is where I was like, He says,
Man, I've been making some dope quotes lately, the fuck?
I'm like, if that was from him, that's sketchy. But I didn't really believe any of that until I started going in a little bit further. Now, that was almost all of the tweets I've seen from Beanie, but this one led me down my next tweet rabbit hole. It was this tweet right here from Beanie that said, just for perfect clarity. And it's a message for someone that we're gonna name Z, because I don't know how to pronounce that name, and I'm not gonna try. And this person's really sus, so I don't care enough to try.
I feel horrid. Everyone in the crew knew what was happening, but were pressured to be quiet for the sake of their income. On the proviso, he wouldn't do it again. But he kept going. We fucked up.
Now, if you don't know what proviso means, because I genuinely had never heard that word before, because people just use it in layman's terms, like regular people, this is what this means. Now, that sent me down a rabbit hole, because I'm like, okay, who are you? How are you involved? I've never heard about you. I know who she's referring to when she's talking about the income. It's very obvious that she's referring to the people in the late night crew, or the streaming group he was in. I kind of got that. And just so you guys aren't confused, this is the part where I took out the tweets on that girl who wasn't involved in the situation. And now we're just going to be reading the tweets from Z and seeing why Ocean looked into the chat logs between them and posted them. Just so you guys understand. I want you to know the tweet he was referencing when he looked up these chat logs and found this stuff on Z, because she deleted a lot of stuff, and so this is apparently what even sparked Ocean to bring up these chat logs, period. Z said in a post, okay, time to cover this. I feel like I've given it some thought. I'll address the Cry situation here in a thread.
In my time in the crew, I can't speak for all the members, but we were aware of at least one case of creepy messages. I believe we all were aware of this. It was one-off, and at the request of the victims, we kept quiet. It was a one-off mistake. Now,
one-off mistake? And when I heard that, I was like, I don't It's not a thing. And plus, we were reading not too long ago that she was saying that everybody knew and that that's what it was, so okay. However, she goes on.
This is around the time I left. I assumed this was a one-off case. What we did not know was that this continued after the said case of messaging. For this, I am deeply sorry for my silence. If I spoke up before, maybe we could have changed things. None of us had the full story.
What? Wait, just pause that for a second. I thought you, okay, this is why this whole thing with her, it's like, I don't believe anything she said at this point. I think she's just dumb and trying to save face, but let's read on.
And had the victims not access to not do anything, I'd like to think we would have stepped up.
What? First of all, I'm trying to be nice, but I'm stop you there. You're all adults. You should have immediately kicked into the curb. A lot of people that were complicit in this situation should be held accountable. Her and a lot of the people that he was working with. You don't necessarily have to put him in jail or give anything to the police, especially if you didn't have any information like that or you weren't sure. That's understandable. But to not kick him out, to not take him out of that group immediately was wrong, and they should not be trying to cover that up or anything. They need to own that and be better. But this is something that I was thinking about as I was reading this. So let me say this right here. If you are an adult, because I see this a lot, not even with just her, but if you are an adult and there is a child involved in any situation, you need to do the adult thing, even if it's against their wishes. I don't care if the victims came to you personally, on their knees begging, don't do this, don't tell my parents, don't go to the police. You must disrespect them in that way and do the right thing and go to the police. I don't care if they are crying, looking at you. You go to the police. They are children. They don't have the wherewithal to know this is a bad idea. I should tell someone about this. I should do this, that, and the third. And they might be scared, which is why it's better for you to go do it than for you to wait for them to do it or for you to be listening to a child. She really said all of this with her whole chest like these people weren't children or younger. And it's different if they're like older and adults. I can understand that, respect them, but if they're children, they don't know that this may affect other people. They don't know all the scenarios that may come of them not going to the police or them not even making a police report or any of that. You don't let children make adult decisions. I just had to say that because I swear I see this more and more often of people having this exact same mindset of if a victim that is a child comes and tells me not to tell anyone or the police, I should just listen, or not to report it. I should just listen because they're victims. No, they are children. They don't have the wherewithal. That's an adult decision. That's an adult or someone who is aware. You need to make the right choice, and that might be disrespectful to them, but that's what you're supposed to do. Just had to say that. Sorry. Again, let's read on.
At least that's what I hope. But the truth is, we messed up. We assumed it was just a creepy, inappropriate message.
Now I get what you're thinking. You know, she said she was sorry. She admitted to it. She owned up for it. There were some excuses in there, but overall, this is pretty good, right? Well, you're forgetting why we're even here in the first place. We're here because she replied to someone that had chat logs. They just happen to be chat logs or alleged chat logs of her convincing someone who was apparently a victim, from what I can gather at this point, that they need to kind of stay quiet. And the chat logs are a little bit hard to read because they're over Skype, but they're on Ocean's Twitter, and I'll try to read them to the best of my abilities. Ocean's made a tweet, and it reads,
"It's kind of amusing that you're saying this now, seeing as you manipulated me into silence 6 years ago when you first found out about all of his actions. Thankful that I was able to find the Skype logs of you doing so. At the time, I was 16, he was 25. You knew."
And this is all alleged, but from what I can see, she kind of admitted to guilt because she deactivated her Twitter and started blocking people. It's like a whole thing. But let's just read for right now.
Z says, "Ocean, Cheyenne just came to me." Ocean says, Z, don't do anything yet. We should see what happened." but she told me Cry's been seeing you on the side. Ocean says, what is she telling you? Z said, just that Cry cheated on her with you. Ocean said, well. Z said, don't say anything to Cry. That's not your place right now. Okay. She also said, I just want to hear it from you. Ocean says, I don't have any ways of contacting him. Z said, so true or no? Ocean says, true. He also says, on his birthday. Z said, you, and then it's blanked out. Ocean said, I'm aware. Z said, Jesus Christ. Ocean said, wait, actually, when with the two of them, I'm curious. Z said, not my place to say when I've spoken to them about it. Ocean said, kind of thrown into the middle of this with no idea, who knows, doesn't know as well how much info they know. Z says, did he ask or did you offer? Ocean says, kind of, and I can't really read that word, but I want to say it's at least have some kind of idea what everyone knows so I can try to defend myself, I guess. Z says, there's really no defending it, hun. I hate when people call me hun. Don't do that. Ugh. Especially after the speech you gave a little while back. I guess I'm just disappointed. Z also says, I say, hide, don't respond to anything over the next few days. Ocean says, got other obligations that keep me here, so that's kind of impossible. Z says, I don't know. Z says, but damage mitigation, hun? Z says, talk to no one about it. Ocean? Ocean replies, yes. Z says, from a legal standpoint, what you and Cry did will get him into huge amount of shit. Ocean, I know. Z, so I'm talking to him now, but it's an asshole move. But would you be willing to deny it if anything came out of it? Oceans, thinking worst case scenario? Z, I. And it's my job to prevent that. Seriously, I don't get enough fucking credit.
Now, from reading that, I can only gather that her, Oceans, and Cry were the only ones who knew about it. I can't really gather that anyone else knew about it or anyone else was aware of what was happening. And even from the timestamps, it doesn't seem like there's much of a time gap to where she would have said anything else, especially with how it was said and things like that. There are some time gaps that are iffy and could be put together weirdly, but honestly, from her response of deleting the tweets and basically changing her whole Twitter around and even changing her handle and her icon, it seems like she's admitting to it. But again, this is all kind of alleged because there's no concrete evidence, but swaying me, I'll say that. But now going back to the tweet that Bean put out of Z that said, I feel horrible, everyone in the crew knew what was happening, but we were pressured to be quiet for the sake of their income and all that. Reading that back now, it's like, oh, so Bean put that out there more to be like, hey, full disclosure, this is what she said to me. And from what the chat log said, she or no one else has really proved that anyone else knew at this point but her and Cry and Ocean. But under that same thread, on top of Bean and Ocean saying something, a new person came about, which we'll cover after we cover a bit more about Ocean and his experiences. But this person, which goes by Snake, put this underneath the tweet that Bean made. The following conversation occurred yesterday morning, minutes before I saw this log myself. And this conversation is between him and Z. And this is what it says.
Snake, hey, I'm getting reports that you're saying that we all knew about Ocean, and I'm trying to figure out why you think that I knew. Cheyenne told us about the cheating and who it was, but at no point was their aide mentioned doing that, and I barely knew who Ocean was, let alone that they were a minor. Is that why you thought that? Because Cheyenne told us? Z, yeah, but Ocean was a minor? I was told it was all above board, just creepy. I've not said this anywhere, by the way. I'm not mentioned names at all, so I don't know who is telling you that. Ocean himself assured me it was all legal. Snake, it's possible, depending on what state they live in at the time, but you're still considering a minor here in the States until you hit 18 regardless. It's a glaring red flag for that kind of behavior, and I have wished I saw it. The things that people are latching on to now is your tweet thread about it, I think. Z, I only found out this morning the scale of it. Yeah, I'll delete it now. This is a legal thing. Fuck, how did we not see this? Fuck, how the fuck? That sack of shit.
So, to summarize what happened, this girl is a lying sack of shit. First, she was like, we really didn't know what happened. It was just a mistake. We didn't know what to do. We'd take it back if we could. All that type of shit. Someone checked her ass on it and said, hey, weren't you the person 6 years ago who tried to silence me? And she probably had a whole fight like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy. And that person was like, but the chat logs though say otherwise. And obviously it's all alleged, but still it's like, but this is what you said and I remember. So they pulled the chat logs on her. They were like, have a fucking seat, bitch. And even though it wasn't necessarily confirmed, she deleted most of her tweets. And so, I mean, like, it's like you're low-key admitting to it, but, like, not. So, again, it's still alleged, but also, like, that's... Why? Why would you do that, then? But then also going into other people's DMs, telling them stuff that's conflicting with what you're doing and saying, and really it just seems like they're trying to cover their own ass, and they really don't care about anybody else but themselves. I know you're mad too, doggy. I'm pissed off as well. And she was like soft blocking people, and I believe she deactivated her account and then came back, and it was just like a whole thing, and she privated it. It was a lot. Just stop. No. That was bad. Like, I understand if you were confused or stuff, but it just seems like you're just straight up lying. And we don't have total proof of that, but like, your story's inconsistent. You're telling a bunch of people different stuff. It looks like you just want to seem like the good guy and get the pat on the back and attention. I don't fuck with people like that. Don't get out of here with that. Ugh. You. Also, I should mention this. Apparently, she said this on Twitter. Why? No one knows. But she says, this is staying up for just one day. Then I'm deleting this account. You should all know Cry has a shotgun and threatens to use it when he's sad. Again, why she said that? Have no idea. At this point, I'm going with attention whore. Trying not to be mean to most people in this situation, but like, you're now labeled attention whore, bitch. What the fuck are you talking about? Unless you specifically know that he has done that, you have proof of that, or that's a concerning factor or anything like that. You don't just make that message and like, what is your point? You get what I'm saying? But to ease you guys, someone did make a tweet confirming that he was okay. I immediately went to go check that out. And this person made the tweet being like,
because of a very serious lie being spread around, I am permitted to publicize saying that Cry is completely fine right now. He does not have a firearm, nor suicidal thoughts, as falsely claimed. So any post to believe otherwise is false and only damages an already warped situation.
So he's okay. I made sure of that. So she's just, I don't know what's wrong with her. It's crazy. But I kind of want to wash her away because she's trash at this point. And I want to talk about Ocean because he is an important part of this situation that isn't like the main cast. And, you know, obviously there's the main cast of Cry and the friends that we know that are involved, the people a part of the late night cast, but I kind of wanted to also talk about the people who maybe aren't in that spotlight as much, but I feel like what they have to say still matters and should affect the situation in that sense. Plus, again, you guys are going on the journey with me to figure out what the fuck is happening. So, going through Ocean's Twitter, because, you know, no one just makes one statement, everybody has to make multiple stuff, which I'm kind of okay with, but also like, I'd rather everyone have something neat and tight so everyone can understand the situation. They're not doing what I'm doing right now. I found a few things that I thought were worth sharing. As it was implied before, Ocean is a victim of Cry's. Him and Cry had a relationship. Now, I know I refer to this as a relationship, but like, no. Like, that's not what this is. It's gross. I just refer to it as a relationship because that's what I kept hearing and reading so often. That's kind of just what I said. But we all know that's no. And Cry was cheating on his girlfriend, Cheyenne, with Ocean. Now, I know we haven't seen Cheyenne and her tweets and whatnot, but we will soon. But Ocean did have his receipts for that to back up his claims and his accusations on that. He didn't just come with the chat logs for Z, he came for the chat logs for everything. Now, this person on Twitter had the link I found to all these chat logs, and they said, Being Chaotic has had a concerning history with exhibiting creepy behavior towards underage girls, especially those involved in the circle around his streams. Here's an album I made featuring Oceans. Ages passed to try to expose this issue. Now, from what I can gather, Oceans is the person that Cry is talking to in these chats, and this tweet was directed towards Bean. It basically was just made to tell her, hey, this has been for a while, here's some messages if you want some other proof or some more information. And we're gonna read those right now.
How are you? Fighting with Shay, sad face. You okay? Meg. Orlando's super gay. That's why I'm leaving it. Good. Michael's definitely not, though. Definitely, yeah? Got proof of that? Yes. Had fun, I take it? Nah, just kissed him on the lip a bit. Just kiss? Cute. Yes, he is. Gonna boyfriend him? Not sure. Well, if you do, was fun. I mean, honestly untrustable, so maybe we should stop regardless. You know, I was just making sure, just in case. I do trust you, jackass. Sure. Oh, please. If I really suspected you were untrustworthy, we would have stopped ages ago. I just really don't like it when people accuse me of shit. Getting offline. Sure? I'm sorry. Duh. Don't worry about it. Sorry about last night. I got the one you told Sack and she told Shay. I don't even talk to Sue, so thus a negative. Well, she told Shay of you and I've told no one, so thus a negative. Then how does she know? Fuck if I know. Because my relationship almost exploded this morning, and now she has access to my Skype, so now I'm fucking numb as shit. So really, if you told someone, it's whatever. I just wanted to let you know what's going on. I'm not trying to piss you off or anything. Just wanted you to know the situation right now. The only person I would have ever told is Bloody. If he knew, you wouldn't be alive. She knows though, so yeah. Was up until 11 with her. She can't trust me anymore. Understandably so. But fuck, I feel like the scum of the earth. How much does she know? All I know is she said Ocean. I couldn't just ask the details. I don't even know who could have known. Blay doesn't know. He's my best friend. If I told anyone, I'd tell him. I don't even have Suki's added anymore. The only way she would have known, if you didn't tell anyone, was through the not so subtle hints on the hentai for cry thing. That's all I can think of.
Fuck is hentai for cry? See, I saw that the first time. I was like, fuck is that? Can someone explain that to me? That's something I just genuinely don't know, and I'm very scared to look up, and I don't think I actually want to know. Never mind, don't tell me shit. Anyways, from what was being said, that seems like that was him talking to Ocean, and that was a relationship that at least lasted 3 months, and it's really unrealistic for me personally to believe that he didn't know that these people were underage when he's been talking to one of them for 3 months in 2014, and from what that person said, they were 16 at the time, or if nothing, just underage. I don't believe that he just didn't know for that long. He also did say that for the sake of clarity amongst everything going on currently, I'm going to be blunt to remove all confusion. Cry absolutely send me pictures and videos of his cock, of his fucking cock, while knowing that I was underage. No, I am not posting them online. Now, from what I can see, he again is getting, or trying to get logs or pictures or whatever from Snapchat to maybe send to the police or whatever. But it's not really even looking good for Cry at this point, and we really haven't heard much from him. And trust me, when we hear from him, it's gonna all be vague and weird, and you're gonna want this context that I'm going through right now. But other than that, that's kind of the end of Ocean's participation in it, except for one thing, but we'll come back to that later. And I'm gonna cut it here. That would be the end of part 1. Sorry if you were watching it and you want to see more. I thought maybe I should cut it up into 2 parts because I didn't want you having to watch like an hour-long video, especially with all the information. But part 2 is gonna come in the next few days. I have it all recorded. I just want to break it up and give you a little break to process the information and all that. Comment down below so far how you're feeling about it and your opinion about it so far. Turn on your notifications so you know the next time I'm going to upload, and you can see the second part of it. Join my Discord server and maybe we can talk about what's happening so far and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.